Morning. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. We got some things to talk about. Another episode of Car Chronicles. We got a lot to talk about. It's been a lot going on since our last episode. We got enough to get me through this commute. Come on in. Please come on in. Good morning. Hit the like button. It don't cost you a thing. Come on in. I got some things I want to talk about. Y'all know when I got questions, I go live. She goes live when she got questions. Come on in. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. Child. I don't want to be on here talking to myself. It's a lot going on. I would say every day is something different, but child, we on a not an every day. We're kind of moving by the hour. We on this every hour there is something new type of time. These are different times that I say in my lifetime I've never seen before. These are definitely different times. And listen, we all on a wing and a prayer. I know I am. I know I am. I'm just moving on a wing and a prayer. Good morning. I'm driving, trying to do better with staying focused on what's before me instead of looking at the screen. But I'm going to be talking, y'all. When I can, I look at the screen and get into the comments when I'm at a light, like right now. Good morning. Good morning, Bless from Texas. How are you? Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning. I don't know how long y'all been following me since I've been doing this Car Chronicles, but one of the first ones I did, I talked about the prison experience, El Salvador, Guantanamo Bay. I even had put some shorts out there last week um, about it. I told y'all that it was rough and tough. This is my lady of rage. It's rough and tough in these prisons. So this morning, while I was getting ready for my day, and looking at the news, just trying to see what the hell happened just since I was asleep. Because y'all know it goes down. Like I said, this is an every hour by hour type thing. You got to stay on top of stuff because that's how often stuff is just popping off. So they talked about a shipment of people, Dorian people from El Salvador. There was a clip. It was a news clip, and it was showing them like in droves. Y'all look like a bunch of people getting off a Delta flight, or maybe Spirit. Y'all seen that Spirit broad, but we gonna come back to it. It was a bunch of them like getting off the plane. They look happy. I mean, they weren't crying and nothing. They look like how like you look when you was on some other type of time, and then you get caught up and your run is over with, and you like, shit, they didn't caught up with me now. It was a nice run while it lasted. That was the energy that these people was giving. Because when I say these people did not look sad, they looked like they was damn happy. Like I said, getting off a damn a Frontier, a Spirit plane, going to Mardi Gras. And so in that story, it ain't funny, but child, I told y'all these prisons would change your life. It's this one guy. Tell y'all what he said, how life changing his little experience was with 2 weeks being at Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay. He's from El Salvador. So I guess he got caught up here in the midst. ICE then had caught up to him like a couple of weeks ago. He said he said that when they put him in that prison, child, he said it was life changing. He said, I am traumatized. He said, I was in a cell. It was little. It was dirty. It had roaches, and I didn't eat. I lost 9 pounds, and I ain't never leaving home. That's what the hell I'm damn talking about. When that mother said, I ain't never leaving home, he said, I ain't never going back home. Child, this man, y'all know how the Ethiopians be, them people in Africa, or when we used to see them commercials where it was to feed the hungry. So them back when I don't know if they still rolling, but when you was up real late at night, maybe when you was on some late night, like midnight, and they showed them feed the hungry, and you would see how small them people, the kids will look, or sometimes even the adult. Listen, he was given every bit of Ethiopian by the body with how little he was, and he said he lost 9 pounds. Now they showed a before picture of what he looked like 2 weeks prior, and it wasn't given. It wasn't looking the same as what the hell we see now. His whole family, y'all, was surrounded by him in the damn house in the kitchen trying to get him a meal. He was little. He said it was enough for him to say, you know what, I'm not leaving. His words was, I ain't never leaving home. That's what he said. He said, I ain't never leaving home. And it was centered around his experience at the Guantanamo Bay. I said, my. So my thoughts is, if enough people get that type of experience, I think we might be on to something. I think we might be on to something. I think we might be on to something, because that's that scared straight type stuff. Remember I said all they need to do is probably run the commercial ads. Like, remember they used to do with the scared straight? They need to run them, the El Salvadorian, those prisons, or the Guantanamo Bay. They need to run them advertisements on what it looks like to be up in them facilities. And speaking of prisons, and how ain't nobody trying to be there, even the workers. Did y'all see over the weekend? I just learned that the people, the correctional officers are protesting at Bendito said Project 2025 Gitmo. Listen, I just learned that the people are protesting at the correctional facilities in New York. Apparently they've been doing this for a little more than a week. I think when I saw it had made maybe about 8 days. And the people are protesting, the workers are protesting, because they're saying that they're working, it's not adequate conditions that they're working in. They feel like the inmates have taken control. They're overworked. They're working double and triple shifts. Sometimes, they may do a double, which is 16 hours. And then when that shift is over with, and they think they finna grab their lunch bag and their keys and head to the door, they're told, oh, we gonna need you to stay another shift because we shorthanded. So that makes 3 shifts. So what's happening also as a result of these, the lack of workers, because they're understaffed. From the inmates' perspective, they're like, it's not good for them, because now they're forced to have to stay in their cells for like majority of a lot of hours, more hours than I guess before, because it's not enough staff for them to just be out and about, for somebody to kind of monitor them. And I seen a brawl on one of the cameras where they showed in the news clip, where there was like an outright fight, I guess between the inmates. And you seen, hell, to me, the staff, the correctional officers looked scared. It was maybe about 3 of them that I seen in the clip, but they was definitely outnumbered with everything that I would see going on as far as with the brawl within the prison. It was just bad. And so it's like I was listening to the story from the 2 different perspectives, because child, the news was even interviewing inmates. So inmates don't play when it comes to having these cell phones, because they be having YouTube channels, they got TikTok. Y'all know these inmates, it do something to my feelings and my soul, y'all, when I see an inmate moving better than me in the content creation. when the numbers, the view, like, yeah, like how, Sway, how? So the news people are interviewing, the news is interviewing these people who are behind bars, and they're telling them about, what the conditions are and things like that, and how it's really bad. So I was kind of hearing it from both ends, the ends of the correctional officers and the end for the inmates. The inmates are like, when the correctional officers are upset, feeling bad about their work conditions, they're taking it out on them, which I can see that. I can see that. So that's where they're having a problem with, because it's just like we're being mistreated by the correctional officers because of whatever issues that they got going on in their own life that ain't got nothing to do with the inmates. So I can definitely see that. Um, we know that's the thing, how we see it all the time, as far as, like, in the movies, they'll show that sometimes you'll have, the correctional officers that be on some demon time, and they don't be on the up and up. So I know, and like I said, y'all, please believe you can see it play out in a movie. It's happening somewhere. Just know that. A lot of times before we may even take notice of it in our everyday life of something, we seen it play out in a movie. Think about things that you've seen in a movie first and you later came to see it play out in your real life. Like, that's the thing. So just keep that in mind when you're watching these movies, when you're watching these shows, that these things that they're putting in, it's almost like, I look at it as like a programmer or getting you prepared for what's to come. So it's like, okay, let's try to, let's try to feed them a little bit. Let's feed them a little bit. Give them a taste of, kind of an idea of, a car or something, that can do something spectacular that they've never seen before. And it goes from there. Just think about just the different things over your lifetime, starting with as early as the cartoon The Jetsons, back when you were seeing, a lot of things that was taking place that was just like, wow. It's like the polar opposite of, say, watching the Flintstones. So that's what I'm saying. So I can believe these inmates are being mistreated because these people, the staff, they're feeling overworked and likely underpaid. I don't even know what a correctional officer gets paid, but I'm just wondering who the hell growing up aspiring to be one. It's so funny. My husband talked about when he first moved to Georgia, like, years ago. He was like, really young, probably early 20s. And child, for whatever damn reason, he thought that he wanted to work for the prison here in Atlanta. So he applied. He was asked to come up there, to go up there to do, like, I guess, you meet the people, do like a tour of the facility. He said, just by getting, so some of you all may have gone. I've been to a county jail before, just when I was little, going to visit, like, a family member. My uncle, child, he would be in and out, but I never visited a prison. So I remember kind of the check-in process, where you gotta, where the adults were having to get their keys. Like, I remember that as a little girl. I had to be maybe no more than 10, between 8 and 10. It was like, I was like his favorite, my uncle, my only uncle. So my husband was saying, just with this job, to get a job working in the prison, it's almost like every day when you go to work, you're getting checked in like you're an inmate as well. Because they're checking on, like, everything, like all these things that they got to do, where they're checking these inmates, like, you're going through that every day. So for those of you who've never experienced anything like that, imagine your job is to go into an environment where you're getting pat down. Shit, they checking your cavities. They trying to see what you got going on. And I said to him, when he was describing that, I said, well, to me, it sounds like you may have felt like you were an inmate as well. He was like, that's exactly what it was. Remember, he was really young. He had to be like I said, early 20s. So this was like before he and I met. We met when he was like 30. So he was like, I knew then just from the front desk. He knew from the front desk that, nah, this wasn't going to be me. So since he was there already, you remember, because he was being recruited, he was going through with the process, but he said he knew then that, nah, if these people came back with an offer, it wasn't going to be enough money. And he was saying he was motivated to the initial motivation to even go there for employment is because the job, whatever he was working at the time, he was making minimum wage. At the time, it was maybe like $6 an hour. So he knew this job. I can't remember if he said how much it paid, but it paid more than what he was making. So he was like, bet, gee, what we say, all money ain't good money. It was he would have been making more than what he was making with the $6 an hour. But he was like, yeah, he was like, just the process to just get in. And he said every day he would have had to go through that process just to go to work. So imagine, so any of you who may be new to my channel, my name is Sheik. Welcome. Hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. My background is clinical mental health counseling. So a lot of what I'll do on any of my platforms, I'll talk about things from the psyche, uh, just the mind, to help try to bring understanding of just what the mind goes through. So I just want to add that, because as he's talking and telling me about this experience, which I'd never really heard it. We never went into detail like we did over the weekend when he talked about what that process was like when he went to that prison, in attempt to, with gaining employment. But as he was talking about it, I naturally just started thinking about, from the psychological standpoint, how that can impact even an employee's psyche if every day you're going into a work environment where it's a building that you're staying in all day with a bunch of people who are there, majority of them being misses. Because remember, y'all, this wasn't no county jail. I believe this was a prison. This was a prison. I think this was a prison. And so my thing is that I would imagine that it can do something to someone's psyche every day, having to, when part of their job is to go into an environment where they're getting checked or pat down. They're hearing the sound of those bars shutting behind them. It's the sound, the sensory. They're spending more hours with people who have done heinous crimes than their loved ones. Their life being put on the line. Now, remember, this is every day somebody's job. How many of y'all, this is what your job is giving, what you got to go through every day? Your job is one to where your life is on the line, or you're in an environment where there's people in there who ain't never getting out, never, ever, 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 ever getting out. But this is the place that you got to go to day in and day out, because that's how you make your living. It will do something to you. To me, I would think it'll make you feel depressed. And then when you not feeling like you even getting paid what you are worth, and then you're being overworked, having to work extra long hours, so you're already in an undesirable environment. You're in an undesirable environment, and now you're being told that they need you to stay in that undesirable environment longer because they don't have anybody else to take over your post. I know you effing lying. So he said that they never reached. Oh yeah, back to the tour. My husband was he's not as small as he used to be, but at that time he was like a really small frame, tall, thin guy. He said as he was doing them tour, the way them doggone ladies was talking to him, talking about how they want to sop him up. And I told y'all he was a little man. So all it would have taken is probably for a good 3 Berthas to get a hold of that damn little ass man and go pound town. I said he would have had at least 3 of them knocked up, because they done held his little ass down and did some things. Now he got kids out there. So listen, child. I ain't making this issue up. This I said he said the women making comments to him during the tour scared the hell out of him because they was already talking about the plans they had for his little ass. And he light skinned with curly hair too. Child, that man didn't have a chance. I told you that man didn't have a chance. I told him a few of them would have been knocked up because they would have took turns riding the hell out. So he said the prison never reached out to him with an offer, but that was the one, y'all. He's so removed from his attempt to even try to work there. I had to refresh his memory. We were talking about the prison systems, and and I was looking at the news clip, and I said to my husband, I was like, "Yeah, because didn't you go and apply?" He was like, "No, I didn't apply." I'm like, "Yes, you did." "Oh yeah, I forgot, child. He had put that so far behind his goddamn. I told you my husband was traumatized. He forgot about that whole experience that I told y'all because I had to remind him, "No, player, you told me that you went down there and tried to work there. Don't do that. Don't do that. What the hell you did." Then, but he didn't even listen. And he put that so far back in his mind because he developed the PTSD just from the tour of the facility. So I truly believe that people experiencing some of these places in person, it can be life changing because it was life changing for that little El Salvadorian little boy guy. And he was, y'all, he said he lost 9 pounds. So they showed a picture of the little El Salvadorian boy. They didn't say how old he was, but he looked like he was maybe about 19. Child, he didn't look the same by the time he went on back home to his grandmama. He did not look the same. He didn't look the same. He was when they showed the picture of what he used to look like. He was cute. He was handsome. Them Hispanic, them Hispanic boys. I think Hispanic people, the Hispanic community, like the different ones. I think they're beautiful people. And he was very handsome, but child, he did not look the same. He did not look the same when he got out. He did not look the same. He did not look the same. So, but what got me was just he was like, I ain't never leaving home. Like he said that like as though he ain't even trying to leave the house. Like I don't see him even trying to go outside and play. Nah, I don't see him going outside and playing. I see him staying in the house like he on house arrest, uh, and eating. He might end up putting weight on it and developing a weight problem because he experienced for a good bit with not having food to where by the time he got the food, I think he might start going overboard with the food because he don't know when he may go without again, which sometimes that's the thing. It's the psyche. The experience really did something to him psychologically, and I understood it. He was like, what he said, that cell, it was small. They kept me in there majority like all day. It had spiders out there. They wouldn't feed me. I ain't never leave it. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't MF and so. Say it ain't so. So speaking on immigration, I was also listening to a news clip with the law officials in Florida. They was going in on the Biden administration. They said, "Damn it, fine, we ain't got time for this ish. We don't have the resources. We do not have the resources for this. Our detention facility can only hold 2,000 people." He was like, "We've already exceeded that. We got people sleeping on the floors, on the grounds at our facilities." He was like, "It's some bull." He kept circling back. It's from that Biden administration. So let me tell y'all what he was saying. Well, what was happening prior to now, what's going on with the, people being deported if if they committed crimes. So prior to when it was underneath the Biden administration, what'll happen is if, like, say somebody, an illegal immigrant, get picked up for whatever reason, Biden's mindset wasn't, okay, we're going to send them back to where they came from. His mindset was they need to go through the proper judicial system meaning that they got to go through the court system, be found guilty, do all of that before even exploring an option to be deported back home when they're here illegally anyway. So the police, the sheriff, I think these are a bunch, I don't know what the titles of these law officials were who was at this press conference. I think they were all probably sheriffs. It was maybe about 9 of them. And he said, he was like, what sense does that make to where you pick somebody up for doing this crime, you know, doing a crime, and then you let them out, because say they get out on bail, you let them out, and then they're back on the street as a repeat offender. And then it's like rinse and repeat. He was like, what sense does that make? He was like, we ain't on that type of time. Oh, them days over. We ain't doing that. You get picked up, you are already getting scheduled to get on the first plane back to wherever the hell you came from. There is no, we're going to wait and allow for you to go to court. We're going to let you out on bail. He was like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that, because it shouldn't have been done like that from the get-go in the first place. But since it was, that's why we're here now. But we're trying to do something about it. He was like, we do not have the means and the resources to continue to play these games. He was like, we don't have it. We can't. We cannot. And we will not. He was like, you going back home. If we catch up with you, you are going back home. He made it very clear in that press conference. It was maybe like 2 or 3 of them, child. One thing about Florida, they definitely stand on business. One thing about Florida, when anytime I hear their law enforcement speak, anytime I hear their law enforcement speak, especially, I don't know if there's this one guy, I don't know what county, if he over Dade County, I don't know, but it's this one white guy. When I say child, he said with his chest. This time on this press conference I'm talking about, it was about 3 of them saying it with their chest. They were like, we ain't got time for that. We not playing them games. We don't have the resources for that. You're getting sent back. They said it would behoove you, if you know that you here illegally and we have not caught up with you, go ahead and handle that yourself and go ahead and go home. Go ahead and handle that yourself and go ahead and go home, because when we catch up with you, that's what's taking place anyway. That's what's taking place anyway. So go ahead and be proactive, because from what I'm hearing, if they catch up with you and send you back, then it's almost like you're forfeiting an opportunity to come back over here the right way. So you're either forfeiting that opportunity, or if you do come back over here the right way, it's going to be a long time from now. So when I say life is about choices, life is about choices. Which one? You want them to roll up on you, or do you want to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to handle that? So last night I was, talking to my mom, and she was telling me about a coworker who she married a guy, and the deal was okay, for him to have citizenship. That was pretty much the only reason why they was getting married. And he got summoned to come to the ICE facility. And yeah, this morning he got an appointment. So my mama told the lady, he ain't coming back home, right? She like, what you mean? She was like, that fool ain't coming back home with you. It will behoove you to have the car keys already. When y'all go to that place, it will behoove you to have the car keys, have all the credit cards, the pins, or whatever you need pertaining to money and resources, because he is not getting cut loose. He's not, ma'am. She was like, well, so he said, well, I'm going to go because a year ago I had an appointment and I didn't go. I missed it. And back then he also had an attorney or whatever. I don't know what kind of consultation he was getting from his attorney, because y'all check this out. The man ain't even got a green card. He's married to an American woman here. He from somewhere, one of them countries over there in Africa. Don't give me the line saying what's the name of it. It's one I ain't never heard of. But he got a wife and kids over there, over yonder, that he sends money over there to. And the wife here is just for just for document shit, I guess. So he thought, he was good with just marrying somebody and that was enough. Child, he didn't do no doggone paperwork. This man ain't got no paperwork. He don't have no paperwork. So he finna roll up in that facility and they gonna say, well, sir, can you show me your green card, your documents? And he gonna look at them like they crazy. Like, what are you talking about? This is my wife. She's American. Sir, sir, sir. This is what I'm talking about. Folks be out here doing the absolute most, think they doing something, not learning laws about the places that they're at. And then when they're having to be held accountable to have discussions about their actions, they looking crazy and on TikTok talking about the president, Elon, everybody, the world against them. How you been over here, a lot of these people 15, 20, 30 years and you haven't gotten your ducks in a row? That's more than enough time to do what you need to do to handle your business. And now that somebody rolling up on you, it's almost like you got all these reasons as to, well, why it didn't take place. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this woman this morning got an appointment with her husband to go on down there to talk to them people about his little situation. And his words to his wife was, well, I gotta go because they said if I don't show up, they gonna put a warrant out for my arrest. Well, sir, yeah, they them people coming for you either way. So they gonna put a warrant out or on you, or when you do show up, they're gonna keep you. So both situations is going to have the outcome of, when they get their hands on you, you are being sent back. He is also one of many people who talk about never wanting to go back where they came from. Y'all don't ask me why this man is adamant about never going back. I think a lot of people who be adamant about never going back where they came from, they be running from stuff. They be running from, their lives be on the line. Y'all see that play out in the movies. People be running. People be running for, for their life, so they'll go and make a life someplace else, create a whole new identity out of survival. So this is what we're dealing with. And so these people, feet are being held to the fire to where now they're having to speak for um, their actions. They have to speak on this. I personally didn't even know that Massachusetts had a high number of Haitians. I saw that it's about 500,000 people in Massachusetts. I don't know if they're all in Boston, but I think maybe just within the state. They're probably within the state now. But just within the state of Massachusetts, it's about 500,000 of them over there in Massachusetts. And apparently the reason why there's a large number of them over there is because in 2010 they came over here because there was a big earthquake that took place in Haiti. And it just the government ended up allowing for them to come over here. To me, from what I was getting from the story, it seemed like they were supposed to be coming over here temporarily. uh Temporarily. And then it turned into, child, y'all listen, we in 2025 now, and that was 2010. And then I saw Biden had something in order, something in place that had them to be here, to be able to be on some type of program that was going through 2020. I don't know, child, but whatever they was here on, according to the last administration, they were rightfully here. But according to the current administration and what they're saying, okay, no, you're not here legally because you're not a citizen. You were here. So what's going on is that if you're here through some type of program and you don't have a citizenship, you're just here through a program, that they're not adhering to that. They're saying, okay, well, yeah, I know this. You said the program was supposed to keep you here through 2026, 27, or even to later on this year. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and just, go ahead and put that program to an end and get you on out of here on the next flight. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening to a lot of people. So I seen in Florida, there's a lot of people from Venezuela who lives in Florida, and particularly Dade County. I learned that Dade County showed up and showed out when it came to Trump in large numbers, to where they were saying on the news when I was watching the news clip. I don't know if she was a local mayor for that town. I don't know if she was the mayor or she was just an immigration attorney, but she said that Dade County had not voted for a Republican. I think she said since 1988. So when I looked up the demographics for Dade County, it was like majority blacks and Hispanics, and then a little the rest is like maybe 14% other, but basically the majority was blacks and Hispanics. So she said the people, there in that county, they voted for Trump because they were under the impression that they was going to be protected because, well, for whatever reason. She didn't get into the reasons as to why they thought they were going to be protected, but reasons I've heard as to why people um, thought they were going to be protected is because they never committed um, acts of crime or any, harmful acts against other people, or just, but not crime, because basically Trump is like, hey, it's a crime to be over here illegally. That's that. But the people who are saying, no, 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 that's not what he was saying. He was going to send over the people who were like, who was hurting people and robbing people, things like that. We're not doing that. So with the Trump administration has said, it's like, well, no, we said we were going to prioritize getting those people up out of here first, the ones who were putting hands and feet on other people. We going and stealing and robbing and all that. We were going to prioritize getting them up out of here first, but that we weren't going to just stop there. That's who the priority was. We said we were going to anybody who was here illegally, which I heard him say that anyone who's in the country illegally will be returned. It's going to be on a return back to sender type of time. I recall him saying that. I recall him saying that. So the thing about it is people who are here illegally but have just been working, taking care of their families, in their minds and in their family and loved ones' minds, they haven't done anything wrong. So they're like, what is going on? I haven't done anything wrong. Why are you treating me this way? Well, sir, ma'am, what's the wrongful act is you being here illegally, you coming over here illegally, or say you were here on some type of visa or doc temporary program or whatever you were here on, and when it expired, you stayed, you stuck around, or you didn't go through the proper channels to get extension on whatever it was that you were over here. And as far as your program or your paperwork, you didn't go tighten that up. That didn't take place, ma'am, sir. So this is why we're here. This is why we're here. So as I say, people want to pick and choose what laws should be upheld. They want the laws pertaining to somebody hurting them, robbing from them, you know, breaking into their things, their vehicles, their homes. They want those they want laws to be upheld to snatch up those people. But they don't want the law to be upheld when it comes to tapping on the shoulder somebody who's over here illegally and not here through the due, by following due process. And I've said this on multiple lives. There is no other country that you can go to where you can just go and do what you want all willy-nilly like that. Like that's not happening. Not when it comes to you just choosing to stay there. It don't work that way. They got processes too, just like we got. It just seems to be a whole problem with us wanting to adhere to our processes, or finally make people live by them. Like, what is wrong? Like, y'all, these ain't no new processes that's on the books. This stuff that's been on the books, and we just saying, hey, we're gonna like really crack the whip and say, hey, you're going to have to adhere to these rules and regulations and all this that's already here. And in the news clip, remember back to the sheriffs, I'm gonna call them sheriffs, the law enforcement that was in Florida that was doing a press conference over the weekend. They told a story of a woman who came from Mexico. I think she came from Mexico. She came from there or one of them other countries. But she told the people, I guess, over there, hey, I want to go to the USA. I got some kids. I ain't got no money. I want to go over there and I want to work. She just said, I want to work. They like, oh, bet. We'll help you. We'll help you get over there. She said they took her all the way to the border. She crossed over to the other side. She was warmly greeted by by the US, the people who, whatever you call them, who deal with people who come into our country. I don't know if that's the immigration people that work over here. Uh she said, they sat her down. They took her into like an office. I'm like, hi. They even said, welcome to America. They said, where do you want to go? And she was like, I want to go in Miami. I want to go there. I want to work. They was like, okay. She said they did DNA tests for her and the children to make sure those were her children. She said they then gave her, got her whatever information she had. Basically, all she had was just what, a name and a birthday. But they told her, hey, here's your EBT card. So for food stamps, here's vouchers for housing. Like, they just set her up, gave her the package down. This is American, like, government officials that did this. And this is not the first story that I've heard of this, where a woman have said she's come over here and got the red carpet treatment, mind you, coming over here illegally, and somebody at the border meeting her there saying, hey, welcome to America, welcome to the USA. So she told them, well, I want to go to Miami, because they asked her, they were like, well, where do you want to go? Because wherever she said she was wanting to go, they was going to get her a one-way ticket there. She told them, I want to go to Miami. So they put her on a plane. She went to Miami. Well, when she got to Miami, she met up with some men, I guess, who was a part of the whole trafficking, the process with getting her over. So she was like, they started telling her that they was about to put her on a stroll. She like, well, what do you mean? I mean, she was like, I came over here to work. And they was like, yeah, you gonna work. You gonna work. So that's how the police caught up with her, is because she was out there being trafficked. She was, being a sex worker because she was working. Remember, she said in her mind, she had her idea of working wasn't what their idea of what their plans were for her. I think she had like 2 kids. And when and they were like, yeah, you gonna work. You right, you gonna work. This is how you're going to work. And that's how she was working. So the law enforcement of Florida was saying that was a case for a lot of, like, women and probably children who've come over here, is that they're being used um, as sex workers. Like, this is how they're earning, like, paying for, to get over here. This is like how the repayment, like, this is what you're doing for me. And they're not telling these people that, like, making that clear up front before these people accept the invitation of coming over to America. They're just saying, oh, okay, yeah, we'll help you get work. They're not painting a picture for some of them may know, but this was an example of a woman that did not know. She did not know what work meant. She thought she was going to come and just go. She said she thought she was just going to be in the fields picking whatever, and you picking in the fields. Listen, whatever you picking in the fields, she thought that's what she was about to be doing. Maybe even doing some hospitality type work, or maybe in the kitchen. They was like, oh, no, 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 no. You're going to be doing this type of work. Better yet, we got some people already lined up that's been waiting for you. And that's how the police caught her, in the midst of her doing her work. And then when she told her story, and it's like, a lot of people, that's been their story. So it's levels to it. It's unfortunate. So you do have people who have come over here illegally, and in the midst of that have become victims of other types of crimes. So it's like the same one person is a criminal for coming over here illegally, but also crime has been committed upon to her because of her being forced to be a sex worker to earn her keep. Because remember, she didn't pay nothing up front to come over to America. She didn't pay nothing. She just said, I guess she thought, oh, they being nice. They trying to help me out. It's a lot, I know. It's a lot, I know. Also in New York, the Roosevelt Hotel. How many of y'all seen that? So them folks at the Roosevelt Hotel got into June to raise up out of there because it's shutting down. I don't know if the hotel is going to go back to being open to the public. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all here for going and booking a room or a stay at the Roosevelt Hotel after the migrants move out. I'm just asking questions because they didn't have that hotel. I think they might have had it. I don't know if it's been about 4 years, but they say I think it's about 4,000 people that come through that hotel a month. And again, these people aren't paying anything, so that just means this is taxpayers, money who that's paying to put these up in hotel. I got to wondering, are they getting a real full hotel experience up in there? Room service is maid, is there housekeeping that come and take? Like, I just got to wondering because when I was looking in the comments on one of the videos I was watching, people who were local there talked about how they remember how that was like a really nice like hotel. And they also said even after the migrants leave, they ain't gonna never try to go over there and try to book a room afterwards. That's what I'm asking. Would y'all go still try to book a room if you're able to? 'Cause right now, it's off limits to anyone who's not a migrant. So, from my understanding of what's been happening with that situation, as far as when migrants come here because they ain't got nowhere else to go, and when I say here, going to New York, when they were going to New York, they were being sent to New York because other places weren't trying to have them there. So New York was like, we'll take you. And then, so I think the deal was when you came through, you only had 60 days to stay there. And then after 60 days, then you was on your own. So then that's when I've seen clips where you see people on the side sleeping outside the hotel or sleeping in tents. A lot of those people came through the hotel, but after the 60 days, they didn't have anywhere to go, and that's why they're outside. So that's what they had. And I guess they did that system because they wanted people to at least have a moment to be able to stay inside of a building with a bed. So you got 60 days to get your life in order, and then it's time to turn over that bed to somebody else. So that was happening in New York for, I think, maybe 4 years, or at least, during the Biden administration or whatever. So the mayor, I think the black guy, the bald headed black man, I don't know if he the mayor. I think he might be the mayor. He did a little press conference, but he said, listen, time has come to an end. Uh, we will no longer be, funding that anymore, that experience anymore. We're not, so it's no longer, what did they call that? One of those cities where they kind of house those safety locations. I can't think of the word right now. But New York is saying they're no longer, I guess, going to pretty much be that, where okay, you're going to be protected from whatever, as a illegal immigrant. We're going to protect you from things. Sanctuary, yes, sanctuary. Thank you, sanctuary city. So New York is like, no, we're not going to. I know, because y'all know a lot of people were like, well, hell, mayor, you the one was pushing. I remember in the media, where he was in and supported and people coming there and all of that. But I guess when he got hit and things real different. So now he the first one to tell them, listen, y'all got to go. Y'all got to go because y'all about to mess up my whole little spot. So y'all got to go. So hey Laura. So that's what's happened with that. So I think June is the deadline. Those people have there to be there at the hotels. And then after that, they out. So we're probably going to see an influx of people on the streets in New York uh, by summer because And then from what I was hearing, ICE really, even though, they're staying, at the hotel, ICE really hadn't been going like deep into those cities like that, to get those people. Like they hadn't been doing that because they was like, hey, like we said, our priority has been like the people who have been doing criminal activities. So they are eventually making their way to the people who aren't doing criminal activities. Some people have gotten caught up who haven't been doing the criminal activities, but they're here, illegally. But again, that's, the government is saying that's not our priority. So they really haven't been rolled up like deep in the inner cities like that. We're trying to round those people up. Because really, when you think about it, ICE could roll up inside of that Roosevelt Hotel and just start rounding them up based off of, the way they moving. I would think they could rightfully do that. But they have not done that. They haven't done that. So it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I'm trying to keep up with all the moving parts, listen to the different stories. So you got the immigration debacle that's going on. And then you got the situation where, people are still losing their jobs. Government workers and even non-government workers. The example of a non-government worker is someone who works for Meta. Was that Mark Zuckerberg? So did y'all see, it was maybe like, I don't know if it was the week of Valentine's Day, maybe he did a big layoff. He laid off a good number of people, and I saw over the weekend that the people who are left standing, I think I guess the executives, the higher up people, they got a 200% bonus. They got a big bonus. They got a bonus. And what I learned also is that when companies, which I didn't know this part, y'all, when companies announce layoffs, their stock goes up. Did y'all know that? When companies announce layoffs, their stock goes up. So Meta stock ended up going up. And I suppose, with this savings that Meta has, they have now with, the removal of a lot of people. Can't remember what that number was. I don't know if it was maybe like 5,000. I can't remember how many people they impacted. But what I do know is that people who are still working there recently received a 200% bonus. So that's each of these employees. I don't know if you were on like a certain pay grade, like leadership, if the people in leadership uh, got this, but basically they're definitely the people who was part of administering, um, laying off people, giving them the notice. But they got 200% bonus. I don't even know what that check looked like when somebody hollering a 200% bonus, because that's more than what to me, like, I don't, like I said, I don't know if 100% bonus would be hell, a bonus damn near hell with the cost of your salary. I don't even know, y'all, the math on that. But they said a 200% bonus. These remaining employees, these employees at Meta got following the layoffs at Meta. I said, see, a lot of this stuff is fighting words. Like a lot of, I just, as I'm seeing a lot of these things that are taking place out here, just with the government and just even with the private entities, to me, I just think about the impact that a lot of this that can have, that will have the impact it will have on the mental and the emotional state of people. Because you have to be careful with how you treat people, how you handle people. And there are a lot of people today who feel like that they have been mishandled, mistreated, and they don't, that they feeling a way about that. They feeling a way about that. And right now, everything is still unfolding. But we don't know down the line, as people really, really are sitting in this idea of, or their new reality of being unemployed, what their mental state is going to be, what their emotional state is going to be. I can easily see, because I've experienced being laid off a couple of times before, one's mentals and emotions been heavily impacted. One's relationship being impacted. Because at one point, I don't know if it's still the number one reason for divorce, but there was a time where the number one reason for divorce was finances. When there's a strain on the finances, there is a strain on the relationship and the marriage. It's stress. It's stress. And when that takes place, a lot of times people start looking for relief outside of the household, outside of the relationship. So it's layers to it. I just see so many different things being impacted by a lot of the changes that I'm seeing that's taking place within the government. And although if you plan the long game, that at the end of the day, making the government smaller through with the head count, things like that, we're being told it's supposed to make things better. Right now, we're seeing how it's really hurting people, everyday American people. Whether you're civilian, whether you're veterans. I heard a lot of, over the weekend, I heard the story of a lot of veterans. I caught up with an old friend of mine's uh, who's a veteran, and he works for the VA hospital. And to be honest, you all, I completely forgot. He and I used to work together, and then up until we didn't. When I so I forgot that the new job that he eventually landed was at the VA. So happened he called me last week, and he talked about that, and he said that his job was not impacted because he's been there now for 2 years. What he does, he works in the ER department, so he's a support to like the medical team and things like that. But he was like, they're severely overworked, understaffed. He said they had plans to hire at least 4 more people, but when Trump and Elon, did this halt, it put a freeze on the hiring, so there went that. And then there were people who ended up losing their jobs. And so my question was, I'm like, well, what's considered probationary? He said the first year of employment is considered probationary. So he talked about a woman who worked, I guess, for the VA, and she had been employed for the VA or the government. Let's just say the government. She'd been employed for the government for 18 years, but she recently had gotten a new position, and she was in the first 90 days in her new position. So she fell under the category of like somebody in their probationary period. So think about how many people may have been impacted simply because not long ago they were blessed with a new job. And then suddenly that blessing became the reason why they're now without a job. Like, really let that sink in. Because who thinks about elevating themselves, getting a new job, making more money, uh, being recognized for your hard work? Because guess what? People said you were a good worker, not because you had poor performance. Because normally in a normal world, people who perform well are people who perform poorly aren't getting advancements. So let's just say these people were good performing workers. Remember, on these notices, it's saying they were not cutting it. They had low performance. I heard multiple people say, well, hell, that's a lie because I'm new to this job and I ain't never even had a performance evaluations. So how is that even possible when my performance and all of that never was even reviewed? So where are you pulling that information from? So again, so this woman, even though she wasn't new to government work, she was new to that particular position. So because she was new to that position, they went ahead and got rid of her. I guess it would have been too much time. It would have been too time consuming to separate those who were new to a position from those who were new to government work in general. I guess that just would have taken too much time for somebody to identify. To me, I would think that's just you running a report, HR providing a report, because everybody got a hire date in the system, right? So I would think that as simply as a report, you can run a report and pull out, okay, all the people who um, were hired just through the government in the last 12 months. I'm just saying, listen, I'm a corporate type person. There's a report for everything. Please know, y'all, they can run a report for damn near anything. You get the right people, you get you some, what do you call them? Get you some actuaries. You get the right people, they can run a report. They can pull this information. This information can be pulled. It ain't taking a lot of manpower where Teresa and HR gotta sit and thumb through. No, no, no. It's a database. They probably can have that pulled if your company use ADP. That's a system people get paid from. You can probably pull that through the ADP. Like, it's not that hard. So people who technically weren't in probation with government work at all, like, were impacted. So it's just like, child, it's a lot. It's a lot. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And we're asked to be patient, because at the end of the day, it's going to be for the better good for our nation, even if we are not seeing it with our eyes. Because what they say, sometimes you don't see it. You just got to move by faith. And for those people who have been impacted directly by any of these changes, that's my message, is to walk by faith. Because if you focus on what's before you, the sight, you will probably lose it. So that's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna focus on, but I only see $1,000 in my account. Like, we're not gonna focus on that. We're gonna focus on the idea that all things happen for a reason, and that there are better days to come. And at the end of the day, you're gonna land. Sorry, I had a call coming through. At the end of the day, you're gonna land on your feet, and you're gonna have all your needs met, then some. That is my prayer for you, and that's what I ask for you to think about. And that's just anyone who's just going through anything. Just think that at the end of the day, God, your higher power, has the last say, not man, any person that you can see with your eyes, but the higher power, the good Lord God, like, he has the last say. So if you're supposed to be making a certain amount of money, living a certain way, that's what's going to happen. And nothing's going to be able to stop that. But again, it starts by having the faith that that's a possibility and that it will happen. So everything is kind of goes back still to the mindset. We are definitely in a time to where we are going to have to really be mindful of our thoughts. We're going to have to be mindful of our thoughts, because guess what? They say thoughts become things. So with that being said, you have to put thought into how you want things to look for you. Think about that. So instead of having your thoughts consumed with what was or what happened, have your thoughts consumed with the things that you want for yourself and you want for your family. Have your thoughts consumed with the results, like the results. If you had these plans, like, oh my God, I had this 5-year plan. Okay, you can still have your 5-year plan. Have your thoughts consumed still around your 5-year plan. It's almost like I heard someone say, it's almost like you got to become delusional with it, to where even though what's happening, what we're seeing, things are happening in your mind, you are seeing something different. Because if you don't see that thing that's different, you'll go crazy. So in your mind, you got to see that thing that puts you in that happy place, because that's how heavy this could be. And these things, as far as like with the jobs, things like that, that hasn't had a direct impact on me, but I sympathize with many people, because I've been in that position before, where you're unexpectedly let go, and you're wondering, well, why me? Because sometimes, one situation it was like just me, one situation it was like the department. So I know the feeling of having just all these questions and no answers, and you're just sitting in the unknown. And then, but those are the moments with for me where I had to kind of go within and request for a higher power to speak to me, to give me confidence, or the willpower to keep going, and to know that there was going to be better days for me to come. uh going going within for me to come to an understanding of why I was being impacted in such a way. What did this mean? Why was I removed from this job? Why now? So if you want answers to things, a lot of times we can get answers to things, like when we go in and get into a quiet place. You can get those answers. But here's another thing. You have to also be okay with not having the answers, because sometimes we don't always have the answers. And that's okay too, because that was a hard lesson I had to learn. I'm a why person. I want answers. I want to know. And as I've gotten older, I've had to learn that I'm not going to always have the answers, and it's okay. But I have to trust that all things happen for a reason. And I have to trust that I'm not going to be put through more than what I can handle. And I have to trust that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to see better days than I've ever seen before. So again, it's about the mindset. It's about the mindset, because you will go insane if you really think about just what's happening before you. Or as I say, the reality of the situation. Like it can be a lot. It can be a lot. So I empathize with those who are being impacted today with all of the changes. I understand. I understand. It's a lot. And if you have family, friends, loved ones, and if they're offering to provide you any type of help and support, I would say to accept it, because there are a lot of people who aren't good with accepting things from other people for whatever reason. Maybe they were used to always been the one to give help to others. So now being in a situation where they're in need, like they can't really handle that, because it's just like I'm used to helping other people. So now I need help. It's just like I'm not used to that. It feels uncomfortable for me. So I know what that feels like. But those of you who actually do need help, accept that. Don't push that away. Don't be in denial about the help that you need, because the Lord could be sending those people to you. That could be your blessing. If someone talks to you about having connects dealing pertaining to a job opportunity, get out of yourself. Be acceptant of the lead that they're able to provide, because sometimes somebody don't have money or like tangible resources to give you, but they know somebody who knows somebody, or there's some type of connect for some type of work or a job or some programs out there. All I'm saying is, like, utilize your resources. Know that the powers that be, the man above, he will send people into your life to help you at your time of need. He'll send people to you. You just have to recognize that that's what took place. This was a blessing. Someone sent this person to you. I don't believe in coincidence. Things don't just happen. They're ordained. They're supposed to happen that way. So when you look at it that way, then it may make it easier for you to accept when someone is extending you an olive branch, or saying, hey, I can help. Let me do this. I got this resource. So don't look at it as though you're a charity case. Look at it as though a higher power saw that you were in need. And remember, you may have been deep in prayer, because you don't always know how this blessing is going to come. You just go into prayer, child, asking and saying, listen, Lord, you know my needs. I need this, I need that, or whatever. It is not, we don't have a control over how we're going to get those needs met. Our job is just to put them out there. And the Lord knows all anyway. He already knows your needs. But when you speak it with your mouth, you say, listen, this is what I need, and he shows up, you can't be all in your feelings because, okay, he's showing up through somebody that you wasn't expecting for it to come from. Don't be a fool and be rejecting things that you prayed for and that you needed and you want because, say, somebody who you hadn't talked to in a long time, because y'all got into it, suddenly shows up in your life and it is offering to help you with something. Look at it as though the Lord sent them. It was a reason why they sent them. Don't be stuck on the who that person is. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't be paying attention to the sender on that type of level. Don't pay attention to the sender on that type of level. If it's coming over to you and it's kosher, meaning that it ain't like nobody was hurt, no laws broken, and it's legit, you better accept that blessing. It's a blessing if it's legit, because the Lord, he ain't gonna send you no mess. If it's legit, you accept it like, okay, I checked it all out, everything good, I looked into it, it's legal. Okay, well, I guess I can take, like, you can do your due diligence to check it out, but don't get caught up in because it's somebody that you didn't know, or somebody that you had beef with before, and now they offering to kind of help you out, and you just, it's like, I don't want they help. Oh, okay. Because you got a lot of people out here who are going without, and they could have all their needs met, but because they're to accept things from particular people for their own personal reasons, they'll just continue to go without. When all along, the answer had been sent to them, the resources had been there, all of that had been there, but because they too foolish to see it, mind you, the same people they prayed for to get out of a situation, they prayed for all of this, and when the resources come, they trick themselves out of a whole a bag. Like, it's just like, bruh, like, how you do that? Didn't you say that you needed this, that, and the third? Wasn't this person and that resource going to provide that? And isn't that legit and it's legal? And what's the problem? Well, she get on my nerves. I just can't stand her. Or he man, he just, I don't know, he talked too much. He get on my nerves, like, and then people are like, so that's your reason why you going without? That's your reason why you still living underneath the bridge? Because he talked too much? Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. So I think a lot of times people be in situations because of they're at their own demise because they don't want to get out of their own way. A lot of times people don't want to get out of their own way. They're their worst enemy. How many of y'all know people like that, where they're their worst enemy, where you see the person constantly self-destruct? They're constantly going in and out of jail, in and out of the penal system. You helping them, you giving them resources. They can't keep a job, but there's always an excuse that's where it's finger pointed as to why they why they in whatever situation. It ain't never got nothing to do with them. It's always about what somebody done or somebody not doing enough. Entitlement. Sometimes people can become so entitled to where they don't even appreciate what you've done because they feel like there's more that you can be doing, because they count in your pocket and they feel like, well, financially, you're capable of doing more. So because they feel like you're capable of doing more, you should be doing more. And if you're not doing more, then there's a problem with you. So I'm going to talk greasy about you. But though, when you do come offer me something, I'm gonna accept it, but I'm gonna still talk my talk. I'm like, how many of y'all know people like that? No, good one. They gonna accept whatever you try to present them, but they still gonna talk they mess. I mean, Y'all, this is how people be out here moving. This is why people be stay taking L's because of the mindset. It's the mindset. Everything starts in the mind. Thoughts become things. Thoughts, message of the day. Thoughts become things. Good morning. Please hit the like button for me. Good morning. Thoughts become things. Positive thoughts. Have positive thoughts. Think positive. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Be a community to one another. So for people who, recently lost their jobs, you're in a community and it's multiple people who are in the same situation. Form a community. Stay in contact, communicate with one another. Because who knows, maybe somebody who's impacted and somebody else who's impacted, an idea may be formed to where a business can be started. A movement can be started. Something can come about as a result of the loss of employment. Something that wouldn't have came about had you not been put in that situation because you weren't motivated to step out on faith and to do something that didn't require you to kind of work for somebody. You didn't have the faith to step out and to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes we need to get around other people to get ideas, because we don't always have the answers. We don't always have the answers. That's why it's important to not isolate yourself and choose to not be around people, because the meeting of the minds, like if you get in a room and you're around other people and y'all start brainstorming and coming up with things, like I said, you can start a whole movement. New business can be launched. Like a lot of stuff can come about by getting into rooms with like-minded people, people who are motivated to produce an income. People need jobs, people need to work. So if you get into a room with other people who are motivated to come up with ways to legally make money, to legally work, people become resourceful. What they say, desperate times calls for desperate measures. People become very resourceful in their time of need. People become very resourceful. So don't just isolate yourself. Okay, well, I ain't got a job, so I'm going to stay in my bed with the curtains closed and with the bottle next to me. Don't do that. Get up, still get dressed, go to different places, go to the library, look into organizations that are things that are taking place in the community that can provide supports, resources, assistance for people who are in similar situations. Seek that out. Seek that out. You got to engage with other people. You got to engage with other people, because if you're trying to figure it out and do it by yourself, I just wouldn't recommend someone trying to go through any of this by themselves. Even if you don't have family, if you have the physical ability to leave your home, go outside, then you can come across people who also are in similar situations and who want to work with others for the purpose of creating something. Like, people are out there. You just got to find them. And here's another thing about finding people. Remember, I talk about mindset. So if you put in, and y'all can let me know if it's ever happened to you, where you'll put a thought in your mind about wanting to do something, and then not long later, it just seems like you'll start to get people who will enter into your life who are a resource to that. So let's just say you was like, man, oh my God, I need to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I just need to, okay, I'm going to lose weight. I figured it out. And then next thing you know, you get into a conversation with somebody randomly about weight loss and things that you can do to lose weight, supplements, um, dietary things that, new trends. Like you just start having these conversations. And it was just like prior to you having this thought of, oh, I need to lose weight, you didn't take notice of these conversations being had, or you didn't feel like you were a part of these conversations. But now, since mentally you're in a place to want to lose weight, now it's like everywhere you turn, there's something centered around weight loss, whether it's exercise equipment, advertisements of gyms, supplements to take, things centered around weight loss. It's energy. It's energy. So that's why I say, if you put in your mind like, wow, like I'm just, you know what, I just want to work for myself. I don't even want to work for anybody anymore. Um, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. You'll start to become part of conversations centered around entrepreneurship, or you'll start to uh, think creatively about ideas on types of businesses to start. It's like the juices will start to flow, because now it's like your mind is focused on that. So energies surrounding that thing is now gravitating to you. That's why I say thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. So think about it. Leave your home. So therefore you're able to put yourself in situations where you're in front of people, to be able to be a part of conversations. It's almost like I say, a lot of women, oh, I'm so single. I want to meet somebody, but they literally don't go nowhere. Guys may do it too. You just at the house. How are you supposed to meet this person when you don't go anywhere? You got to put yourself out there. So therefore you can come before people. That's how it works. You can't sit and say what they say, faith with no works. That goes into the faith with no works. You can't say, oh my God, I'm in this new town. I don't know anyone. I don't have any friends. And you're saying that day in and day out as you stay in your home. Faith with no works. You have to physically put yourself in environments where there's other people, so you can create those relationships that you say you desire, right? Makes sense to me. I don't know. I guess it don't make sense to everybody, because it seems like it's a lot of people in that situation. They'll talk what they say, that talk about it, but don't be about it. They'll say what they want, faith with no words, but they're not putting in any action. It's just words. And it's just like, oh, okay. Well, let me know how that work out for you. Let me know how that work out for you. Because I'm going to say, people who move that way, I don't see things working out for them favorably. People who just talk about it and don't be about it, meaning don't take action, oh, it shows in their life, in the results. They every year, another day, another year is coming, and they're still without whatever that very thing or person was that they wanted. Faith with no works. And I don't know how long it takes for people to realize this, because it's sometimes so often people do that. They'll say, oh, I want this, I want to be married, I want kids or whatever, but they're not taking care of themselves, their health, doing things that's going to put them in position or a better light to have those very things. They're just saying it. So it's like, do you really want it, or it just sounds nice? I think it just sounds nice to a lot of people. I think it just sounds nice. It has to be that. It has to be. It just sounds nice to say I want these things. That's just never been me and my personality. I'll say I want something. I'm not really one to go around broadcasting the things that I want and desire. I'm action oriented. So for me, I know, okay, this is my goal, this is my desire. And a lot of times people may not know that. Maybe very, very few people may know it. Maybe my husband, um, mom, like very few people will know it. But then they'll look up and see me have things, and then they'll be like, oh my, they'll be surprised or whatever. Because listen, I didn't talk about it, because I don't spend a lot of energy talking about things that I want. I just put forth the work, the action, and then they show up because it's work that I put in. And then I'm having conversations on the back end of, well, yeah, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing. Just like, oh my, I didn't know you were working on that. No, because that's just not my personality to just talk about things like that. My personality is to just do it. I live by that slogan with Michael Jordan, just do it. Like legit, like that's my personality. Just do it. And that's how I've accomplished quite a bit in my life, but it's just centered around not talking about it, but being about it. So I'm always encouraging for people to do just that. Don't talk about it, be about it. Because most of the time, what I've seen that the bigger talkers are the ones who do less. People who talk a lot, I notice that they don't really do a lot. And then the ones who are doing spectacular things aren't really the ones who do a lot of talking. Like, take notice of that with people. Just as you're going about with people you know, just people in the media, take notice of the ones who are quiet versus the one who are loud with it. And then do like an inventory to look at like their accomplishments, their results, and compare it. A lot of times the one that don't really talk a lot is the one that's really doing the most, meaning like the most in like results, getting to it. They were the quieter ones. It's like, wow. Whereas that one that was very loud about it, telling everything, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. A lot of times you'll see that they they don't do nothing, or they do very little of what they said they was going to do. Because to me, I feel like they didn't put all their energy into just talking about it versus being about it. So I would say, put that energy into the action. Be about it. So shift that energy there and don't have it in your mouth and you just talking about all these things. Like just put it into, your works, and what they say, let your works, your efforts speak for themselves. And that's just pretty much, my 44 years, that's the lessons I've learned. And I've just learned that through life, not really anyone teaching me any of this. It's just through life with me taking notice that uh, it's not necessary to talk about the things that you're about to do. And here's another thing, you all, when you do get to talking about stuff, everybody isn't always here for your vision, your dream, what you're trying to do. So you have some people to where when they hear with this about this plan and all of this and that, they want to speak negativity on it. They're not here for it. And they may try to talk you out of it. It can, and you may start to question, whether or not you should be doing it and all of that. So when you keep things to yourself, or say if you shared it with just a couple of people who you're close to, and there's someone who's going to support you, I just feel like, you often get a better result when you do it that way. Therefore, that very person who wouldn't have thought you would have been capable of accomplishing that thing, they'll learn about the accomplishment after it's done. So we didn't already missed the part with them saying what the hell you couldn't do or wasn't capable of doing it, because they didn't know you was doing it. And then they're learning about it on the back end and sitting like, wow. And they low key thinking like, damn, I didn't think she was capable. Hey, good morning, virtuous woman. He says, agree, keep it to yourself. When you know, you know. When you know, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Just try that. Try keeping some things to yourself. Because with this new era, with the social media, everybody want to put everything on the doggone internet. There's no privacy anymore. And then when other people are talking about what that person has said, they feeling like, well, why are you all in my business? I wouldn't even know about your business if you weren't on the internet putting it out there like that. So it'll be that for me, where the people who put their whole life out there on the internet are the very ones to hit you with, why you in my business? Stay out my business. I remember some years ago, I think I seen Tamar Braxton say something like that. She had put something out there about people in her business. I'm like, ma'am, 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 you a whole reality star. You are a whole reality star. But like it be that like they legit be like, why you in my, like these people who put their business out there be the main ones talking about stay out my business. You can't make this stuff up. Good morning, Yolanda. Good morning. So another message for Tuesday. A message in the Car Chronicles series is keep some things to yourself. Um, be mindful of your thoughts because thoughts become things. And don't isolate yourself away from people. Interact with people. Use them as a resource. Go into prayer about the things that you want. And when they show up, don't get caught in the details of the how they showed up because guess what? It's not your business. That part's not your business. You ask for something, it shows up. It's not your business. That how, that's not your business. That's not your business. Your business is to put out there what you want and let it happen. And when it happens, you receive it. You show gratitude. You pay it forward. You share your testimony. You inspire the next person. That's how it goes. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's how it goes, y'all. It's not that deep. John question says, can you explain where the line is crossed between talking too much and manifesting future endeavors? I think the line for me is crossed is when you're just talking about it all the time. Like every time, like you ever go around some people and every time you get around them, they're just talking about whatever. Because to manifest things, it doesn't have anything to do with talking about it, going around talking about it. To manifest something is to just, you have it in your mind. You telling yourself this is what I want. It doesn't necessarily have to do with you telling the world what it is that you're working. It's from within. You manifested it because it was something that you claimed within your heart. The next person don't have to know that. My thing is, if you do want to share what your plan is, you have to be selective about who you're sharing it with because everybody is not for you. Everybody is not here for what it is you're wanting to manifest. And you have people who can speak ill will over those very things. You have people that can put out negativity and that can have you to start questioning that very thing that you want to manifest by putting ideas in your head that it's not possible. How many of you have ever achieved goals to where somebody told you it wasn't possible? Or even at one point you thought it wasn't possible. But you like, bet. Like, y'all, like my very second Chronicle Speaks episode, when I hit end on that live, had over 28,000 views. That's not something I ever thought that was going. Sometimes I look at other videos, other content creators, see big numbers, be like, wow, man, I wonder what it feels like to have views like that. I never said that out loud to anybody. It was just the thoughts that I'd have like, wow, one day, I don't know what I'll be talking about. I don't know what I'll be talking about to garner to have, big, a lot of views. But one day, and I kid you not, I'm gonna tell you background of before I started Chronicle Speaks, what happened. John said, thank you for the enlightenment. Have a great day. Thank you, John. You're very welcome. So, how many of you are familiar with the content creator Dodash? I don't follow her. I know who she is because she comes up under my recommendations. And she's always inspiring. She always got this happy, energy. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was at home minding my business, sitting under the hairdryer. And I was thinking, okay, tomorrow I'm going to work. I'm driving in. What am I going to talk about? And I so happened clicked on one of her videos, and I rarely click on her videos. Like I said, she comes up in my recommendations. I'm familiar who she is, but most of the time, a lot of time, I find her content just her reacting to her AdSense. She'll do some motivation to get people to be content creators, but I'm already a content creator, so I didn't really feel like I needed a motivation for that. And then I don't need to click on her video to listen to her talk about what her AdSense was for the day. So, but this time for some reason I clicked on her video, and the video was centered around content creation and encouraging people to just go online, whatever platform they choose, and just be themselves. Like literally, like the moral of the story, her story was just be you. Don't show up being anybody else, just you. Just be you. Just let you shine through. You just be you. And when she said that, it hit me because I feel like I come on the internet, I am me, but I've talked about different things. But up until that point, up until, that day that I was listening to her, I had never talked about the real things, my real thoughts about just life and the things that's going on to the world. I would do reaction videos, and I would talk about what was playing out before us in that video, or whatever content creator or other person, that I was reviewing. If y'all day ones, y'all know what I'm talking about. I used to react to a popular YouTube channel, very popular. I was one of the larger platforms that reacted to her content. So I became very known with reacting to her content. She even knew who I was. She and I interacted a couple of times, got into some arguments a couple of times. So I was known for reacting to this particular YouTuber's content. So if you want to know with all of that, that's in my, my videos are still on my channels. But this year I just chose to move away from that. So this year I said, hey, I want to talk about some things going into 2025. My plan was, I said, I want to talk about things of substance on my channel. I want people to feel motivated. I don't want people to walk away from listening to my content feeling like I bullied anyone. I made them feel bad about themselves. None of that. Because last year that wasn't the case. There were people that felt a certain type of way because of some of the things that I was saying that came from just my opinion. And I said, you know what? I don't want my content to be like that anymore. I want to switch it up, even though it got clicks and views. And when you're monetized, clicks and views equates to money. So I was making money. And here's the thing, you all. That was on my paid channel. Do you guys understand that when I'm talking to you all on this channel for Chronicles Speaks, this is not my paid channel. For those of you who are new to my channel, hi, I'm Chic. I have two channels. My paid channel is Chic Speaks. I make money off of that channel. I'm not even over there. That is a channel where I did those reaction videos on. That content that I choose to no longer do. I have not done any content of the such like that since probably December 2024. I told the world that I wasn't doing it anymore, and I stayed 10 toes down on it, and I have not done that. I got money. I got paid money, good money from those videos. I do not do that anymore. I have this channel. This is a different channel with a whole different kind of energy. It's not monetized. I'm working towards that, but it's not monetized. Please like, share, subscribe. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's not a monetized channel, but you know what? It's not about that for me. That's not the priority. It's the message. So back to DoDash. When she talked about just showing up, being yourself, talk about things that matter to you. That is when Car Chronicles came to life. That was when the idea came. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go live. I have a long commute to my office a couple of days a week. During those commutes, I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about some things. That first live that I did after that thought came to me, I ended that live with over 6,000 views. That was the most views to date, well, at that time, that I'd ever gotten from a live. That video was nothing centered around degrading anybody, talking about nothing. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go back, check out the whole Chronicles, Car Chronicles series. When I hit into that live, I was so shocked and happy at the same time, because all I did was show up as me and talk about the things that was on my mind, on my heart. And I meant every bit of it. Day 2, the second episodes of Car Chronicles, I did the same thing. That was the video that got 28,000 views. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you take out just trying to have things, the particulars about things, when you stop going deep in thought with things and simplify it, that's when the breakthrough happens. Since then, I've got magic. So remember, I told you I'm monetized. Imagine what kind of money that I would make with views like that. Imagine what kind of money I would make with views like that on the paid channel. This channel is not monetized, but this channel has all those type of views. I wasn't getting those type of views when I was reacting to that popular content creators channel, where she wasn't here for the things that I was having to say, because I was psychoanalyzing her. Because remember, I say my background, I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. So that means I can be a whole therapist out here if I so choose to. If I choose to go ahead and get my license activated for the state of Georgia, I can set up shop and say, okay, what day you want to come and lay on my couch? That's the type of credentials that I have. I do not want to serve the community in that type of capacity. I like helping people like this, getting online, talking to people. Somebody got questions. If I'm in the passing, walking past someone, my neighbor, I'm at work in the office, they have a question about their child, their grandchild, their spouse. I like to help and give them information like that for free that don't cost nothing. I like to do it in that capacity versus charging somebody to come and lie on my couch. That's when I initially went to school to get my education at. That's what I thought. I wanted to have my own practice for family counseling. But now that changed. That changed. Now it's like I don't want to help in that way. I want to just help regular people who I encounter and not send them a bill. I just want to just say, well, hey, well, this is what I think. This is just what I want. So that is what I was doing when I was reacting to that content creator. But she didn't like that. But eventually I moved away from that. So now I'm here. You all see my small channel that's like underneath. I don't know what my subscriber count is, because every time after, it goes up. These, especially when I do the Car Chronicle series, I tend to get a good number of new subscribers coming off of it. So prior to this live, I probably was maybe about, it was right under 700. It was like, but y'all, this is my small channel. This is not monetized. This is just me coming out here talking and not even worried about making money. Because if it was me being worried about making money, it would be on the channel that's monetized. So remember, first video, over 6,000. Second video, over 28,000. That's from the Car Chronicles. If you're not familiar with them, you better get into them. So after that, I had another video that was like over 23,000. Crazy, right? Crazy. And it's just me sharing my thoughts about just life and the things that you all have heard me say. So I say all that to say, you don't have to you may not even know the details as to how to get the things or the results that you want, but if you have it in your heart and you can think about it, it can show up. So when DoDash put that message out there, it just had me to say it. What spoke to me was, hey, don't think about it too hard. Don't go so deep into it. It's not that deep. Just go live and talk. Don't be afraid of sharing your true thoughts on how you feel about something. It's okay. Your tribe will find you. Your tribe will find you. So My Car Chronicles series is me just speaking and me not being concerned about if somebody else is here for my opinions or my views. First of all, half the time I can't see the comments anyway because I'm driving. And I got awesome moderators that handle that when, when it get funky in here. And y'all know my mods don't play. Use about good two of them. I have more moderators, but at this time of the day, it's a good two that consistently will come in on these lives. But like I say, I'm not new to this. This is my second channel. This is smaller. My bigger channel is check it out, Chic Speaks. You can follow me over there. Check me out over there. So eventually I'll do some consistent content over there, but when I go live on my phone, I like to do it on this channel. So this is a channel that I'm working to get to grow just like I did with the first channel that I started in like 2020. So here we are. That's my story. Hopefully it inspired someone that you can achieve things beyond your biggest dreams, beyond your thoughts, because like I said, it wasn't that long ago where I seen people that had big numbers and I'm like, wow, how they do. I want, I love to do that one day. And guess what? That one day came unexpectedly. That one day came a few times. Over 20, almost 30,000 views. That it two times in like the last couple of weeks it came. And so I get to think like, whew, I'm gonna get monetized one day, but right now it's about getting the message out. So it's okay. It's okay. I'm just happy to have you all here, and I hope you all rock with me and enjoy my Car Chronicles series. And you may not be here for everything that I have to say, but that's fine. That is fine because everybody's not going to have the same opinion. It's about having respect for one another. Uh, Brolena says, I would mod to help you. There's no one else who who enjoy modding. Sometimes it be a struggle in here moderating, but my two moderators, Virtuous Woman and Yvonne, they'll hold it down. So sometimes there is a need for more. So that's what kind of we're working on now. With probably trying to probably get some more moderators in here that will be available during my Car Chronicles series. So that's where we are with that. Growing pains, but we're growing. Remember, my goal was 1,000 subscribers. Once I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to be monetized because I already have a lot of watch hours on this channel. And you just need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So the watch hours I've had really for a long time. I've had it for a long time. It's just the subscriber account that was growing slower, but it's growing. We're growing. We're growing. And thanks to you all. And I thank each and every one of you all for tapping in with me and uh helping me to grow. And it's okay, Brolane, if you can't be a moderator, that's perfectly fine. uh it's fine. I'll eventually get him. Pee Wee Leftover says thank you for the good advice. Thank you. You're very welcome, and thank you all for tapping in. So another message for Tuesday is just don't get stuck in the details. Just take action. Just take action. Just start somewhere. The rest will fall into place. Just start somewhere. The rest will fall into place. And that was what I pulled from DoorDash. It's just, just be you. Just show up as you. And the rest will take care of itself. And that was the type of time, the energy I had when I first started Car Chronicles. And here we are. It's a thing. And it's the thing that has me to look forward to a long commute driving into the office because I can do this with you all. Berlin says, thanks, Sheik. I like to focus on what you're saying and not being paranoid and angry about the trolls. I understand, child. I understand. I don't moderate on anyone's. I've never been a moderator for any content creator. So I understand. I like to take in the content. So I understand. Pam said, what happened to your big channel, Sheik? I still have my big channel. I just, I just, I'm just not as active over there on it as I am on this channel. That channel was heavily my reaction videos when I would react to a popular content creator. And then When I decided to move away from that, I started doing other content on this channel. And this is just where I've just been spending my time because I'm wanting to grow this channel to at least get it to be monetized. So that's why I've been kind of just choosing to put my efforts on this channel versus the other channel that's already monetized. I mean, because once your channel gets monetized, it's going to stay that way unless you do something. YouTube kind of takes it away. But otherwise, just because you're not active on it doesn't take away the fact that it's monetized. Anytime I go live, like it's monetized, so it's already done what it's supposed to do. With most content creators, your first goal is to get it monetized. Next, you're focused on the subscribers. So I've achieved that goal. Now I'm on this channel, so my first goal on this channel is to get it monetized. Once I get this channel monetized, then it's kind of like whichever one, that I choose to kind of go live on, but I'll just have two channels that are monetized. Why not? Why not? Many people do. A lot of times you look at it as a backup channel, and really I set this channel up as a backup channel to the other one because it was just background drama going on with that first channel. So if anything were to ever happen with that channel, I wanted to have another channel. So that's what prompted me to set up this channel, and that's where we are. And yeah, we've been growing. But that's it. It's still around. It's still around, Pam. I just have to figure out, what I want to do over there as far as with I like keeping my car chronicle kind of content over here. I would just have to kind of figure out with my bigger channel what I want to do with it. Because what I had been doing with it, I've kind of moved away from. So I have to kind of revamp and things like that and just figure that out. But it's still there. But thank you. I hadn't seen you in a while. Thank you for tapping in. I thank each and every one of you for tapping in. Yolanda says, have a great day. Keep striving. This is your calling. Thank you so much. Like I say, you find your tribe. Whoever's supposed to find me and my content, they will. You know, I can't worry about that. I just go live and I do what I do. And listen, I can't really, what I said, the rest ain't my business. The rest is not my business. Who's choosing to tap, double tap, hit the like button, subscribe? That's not my business. That's not my business. I put out, the request, hey, like, share, subscribe. That's what you do as a content creator. But that's not my heavy focus. My focus is the message and it reaching whoever is supposed to reach. Sue says, hey, she can chat at work, quickly commenting to show support. I appreciate you, Sue. Thank you. I know some people don't get the notifications from my videos. I would recommend hit the refresh for the notification bell and see if that'll start allowing for you to get the notifications. Pam says, got burned out on the Fifi versus everyone. Yeah, it can be a lot. So 2024, those last 6 months, that I covered, the reactions, did the reaction videos. It was a lot. It took a lot out of me. And some people may not feel like or thought that it did because of how I would do it, but it did take a lot out of me. And now I feel better about the content that I do right now, as far as with just talking about just the things going on in the world, important stuff. Because really, what I've concluded that a lot of the shenanigans that these people, these content creators that show their lives on the internet, they dealing with stuff that's really not that important. It's people out here losing their jobs, um, people out here getting deported. Like, it's so much to be focused on. And I want to focus on the things that matter, that can make a difference, like saying some things that can really kind of be impactful for the positive to someone's life. So that's where I'm at, and that not being centered around a click interview. So that was the direction I decided to go as a content creator for 2025. And I said, everything else will fall into place. Someone will find me. I'll eventually get monetized, but I can't worry about the details. I just got to put my head down and go to work. That's what I do as a content creator. I literally put my head down, I go to work. And like I said, I have no clue on views or nothing like that, you all, until I hit end. When I hit end the live, then I see the number. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know who came in. And as I'm talking, I'm not concerned about it. It's about the message. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. But that's what I got for you. I'm gonna let y'all good people go. Happy Tuesday. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so you'll know when I do go live. My car chronicles are pretty much maybe like twice a week. Usually like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are right now the days I typically will drive into the office. Sometimes I may hit you with a Thursday if I'm up for it. But Car Chronicles is just, yeah, when I'm on my little long commute, and it helps to pass the time to talk with you all. So I'm like, hey, win-win. And it definitely helped you all help me. It makes my drive go faster. I'm not dealing with, the craziness of the roads, so it works. It's perfect for me. So I hope you all enjoy just as much as I do. So take care of yourself and one another. As I say, heavy on the take care of yourself. So often we taking care of everyone but ourselves. So take care of yourself. Love on yourself. Thoughts become things. So be mindful of your thoughts today as you navigate throughout your day. Think positive so you can receive positive results, because that's what you want, and that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you. And that's all I got, good folks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll catch y'all on the next broadcast. Peace.